All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's open forum. Glad to have you all here today. All 14 of us in here having a good morning. Getting close to the holidays, as you guys know, which makes us exciting. Getting started for a brand new year. This year, as you guys know, has not been the most productive that any of us have ever had, but that's what we're here for, to get better for next year. Along with the market and everything else, we're going to get better and we're going to be more productive. So it's pretty exciting stuff. I am excited that you guys came for part 2 of goals, which is the more difficult, more personal part. We're going to get started with some of the things that we talked about last week. You guys know with the SMART goals. I'm not going to go into that again because I'm sure most of you were here last week, if not all of you. And so what I'm going to go into is part 2 is always more specified to the person. More SMART goals is about setting the goals. Part 2, it's more about figuring out what we have to do to reach our goals. So breaking that down into a daily thing. And part 3, guys, it's all on you. That is all done next year, which is, well, you set up for it now, but it's done next year, which is actually doing the things it takes to reach your goals. So we're going to talk about that some today. I'm going to share with you guys my screen, and we have here, share that. I'm going to share with you what I put in here, going off of last week. So I ran some last week. If you guys remember, I had a PowerPoint set up for you guys where we went over all of the numbers for what we want to do for some arbitrary, just example goals. And so this is what I put in there. Okay, I've set my goal at netting $100,000 in 2026. I average, sometimes 2.5, sometimes 3, 2.75 gross commission on my sales. I sold 8 homes in 2025, half listings and half buyers. I got 1 from church, 2 from my daughter's soccer team parents, 2 referrals from past clients, and 3 from social media and my website. Obviously, these are all made up numbers. I don't even have a daughter. What is a good daily, weekly, and monthly plan for me? Now, it did think for a while. This is the longest I've ever seen it think. It thought for 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes, which was pretty cool. I guess it has slow mornings too. Maybe it needs some coffee. All right. And it came out with, love this. This is exactly in a situation where a tight plan actually matters. So I told it I wanted to make $100,000 net. Okay. So I'll give you rough math. How many closings you probably need. Then a daily, weekly, monthly plan that matches where your 8 deals came from. Now, I'm not in love with where those 8 deals came from. It could be absolutely anything. I just made that up. But I wanted to give it some kind of context because what it told us last week, it kind of did some when I asked for some examples, and it kind of made some assumptions that may or may not fit what you guys are. But I wanted to give you an example, a different example, because I know a lot of you were here last week and you saw the examples it gave. We'll give you different examples of where I see some of you guys, pulling deals from, right? Sometimes your best friend buys and sells a house, or your mom does, or whatever. You're going to get those kind of personal deals, but you're also going to have to get the ones from your experiences. And I want to make it clear to you guys that you got to keep up all these things because every 1 or 2 deals helps, right? They all add up to your 10 deals, your 20 deals, whatever your goal is. So quick math, how many deals do you need? You want to net $100,000 in 2026. Let's make a simple conservative assumption, and you can tweak it, of course. Total expenses, taxes, etc., 30% of your GCI. That means you keep 70% of your GCI as net. Now that number is high. It also figures out, the first time I did this, it figures out that you got to pay your broker a split as well. So that 30% is higher than what most of you guys would deal with. So I like that though. It's a conservative number. That keeps you 70% of your GCI is net. So if your GCI target is 100,000 at 70%, you actually have to make 143,000 with your average 2.75% commission. GCI per deal depends on the price. 400,000. They're saying that's the median home price in Orlando, Tampa area. So that's perfect, right? That's $11,000 per closing. So you need 13 closings. It actually comes out to exactly 143. So a good target working for you guys is 13 to 15 closings in 2026. You did 8 in 2025. So this is a solid, ambitious stretch, but not crazy. That's a great SMART goal for somebody who did 8 sales this year. But let's figure it's around 14 closings. So you told me, guys, it's just things I made up. One from church, two from your daughter's soccer parents, two referrals from past clients, three from social media website. That's your DNA, is what it's assuming. You guys, if you want to go back a couple of years, if you think this year was a fluke, like normally I get more from my church, or normally I get more from my school, or my Daryl from his neighborhood stuff, whatever it is, different people have different ways of getting things. So tweak it however you want. But if you had an off year from, none of my friends bought or sold anything, they usually do, which I think is a common thing, because what you guys are seeing when a friend buys and sells, it's usually local friend who's buying and selling locally, right? They're moving to a different neighborhood, or they're getting a bigger house, a smaller house, whatever they're doing. And people haven't been doing that because that is a rate that the rates are prohibiting them from doing that. They're in a 3.5% or 3% mortgage now, and they don't want to get a 6.5% or a 6%, right? That just makes sense. So they're staying where they are. Those kind of people aren't moving very much. So you might be a little bit hurting on those kind of deals. And so if those are usually a little more common, with rates coming down a little bit and a little bit more pent up buyer demand, I think that those deals might come back, and you might be able to figure, maybe some of those back in this year. But those are just kind of lucky ones who come along because they're your best friends or your family or whatever. So let's not figure on those. Well, those can just be icing on the cake. So if we scale it up to 14 closings, it's almost going to double, right? So there's your church and your soccer and your past client referrals. The soccer deals are not going to be every year either, probably, but these are just, examples. And that's one thing that AI can't figure out. There's, they probably don't know that soccer team parents aren't going to, buy in every year. And your kid's going to maybe be on a new soccer team, and you're not going to know the parents, or, whatever. So you can't figure those things, but let's build around those pillars. I didn't know it was going to take it in that direction with the soccer team and all that stuff, but we'll talk about that as it comes along. Let's assume it takes about 50 real estate conversations to produce one closing. Now you can tweak that. I can write in here, it only takes 20 conversations to produce a closing, and it'll change that completely. For 14 closings, that's about 700 conversations a year. That seems like a lot, but that's 2 a day. Well, there you go. 13, 14 a week. Round up to give yourself 20 conversations a week. 20 conversations a week. If you only work 5 days, that's 4 a day. That's not a lot. So 4, they just figured it out. Never mind. Live means in-person, phone, Zoom, meaningful DM voice messages about real estate, or life and real estate, which is what I recommend. Always work out some reason to call them and talk to them besides just asking for their business. If you want to split them up like this, I don't think you need to do that. It's not figuring real life here, that you see people at church events, you see people at soccer games and stuff. You don't need to have one combo a day, but you can slide in some conversations between games and practices and stuff like that, etc. 10 follow-ups per day. Texting soccer parents. So I like this kind of stuff. How's so-and-so doing with their not liking the team necessarily. I mean, these are people you see, you have to put your own stuff in there, but how's Susan doing? I saw that she skinned her knee at the practice, right? I saw she took a bad fall at practice. How's she feeling? Blah, blah, blah. We talked about those townhomes for sale that you've been looking at. I found something that might be of interest to you guys, something like that. Just work something in there. Checking in with past clients always. Any projects you're thinking about this year, what's next for you guys? Is your mom still moving down to Florida? That kind of thing. Thanks for engaging on my market update. Anything you're curious about? I love those. Those are exactly what you're looking for. Any kind of engagement you get on anything that you post of value. That's why you post things of value, because people will engage. We're talking about labeling your leads. One intentional post per weekday. This is where we start talking about your social media, guys, and this is where you bloom. So you are limited to unless you're going to go crazy. You are limited to one church, and you're limited to one soccer team, and you're limited to how many ever kids you have and how many ever teams that they're on. But you're not limited if you want to take the next step and go and double your business. I think this whole point I've been making with your teams and your churches and all that stuff is that's good for X amount, and that you're going to be limited to those 2, 3, 4, 5 deals a year on that. Those are great to have, right? Everybody wants those extra 2, 3, 4, 5 deals. But if you really want to grow, you've got to do it through your marketing. You've got to do business with strangers and make them part of your circle. Okay, you have to grow your circle. You have to do, and you do that by marketing and engagement and stuff like that. You're only going to get so much from just being a nice guy or a nice lady and a parent and a this and a that. You've got to expand through this. And if you're looking beyond 2026 to 2027, and let's say you go from 8 to you're 14, and now you want to go from 14 to 22 or 14 to 20 or whatever it is, and start getting ahead in life. Maybe you really want that 100,000 so you can catch up, but then after that you want to start doing 150 or 200 so you can get ahead in life. That's where you need to start building your social media presence. That's where you have to start reaching outside of your circle, outside of your comfort zone, and start hitting the public and start growing your brand. And that's how you do. That's what I want you to get out of this with the social media stuff. So do your intentional posts, and guys, put your own stuff in here. I mean, I'm just gonna scroll through this stuff. Put your own stuff in here because this doesn't matter. This is all a made up thing. But put your own stuff in here and see what it tells you. It is absolutely free. I do $20 a month for the plus because I like it to do graphic stuff and all that, and it doesn't limit me on that. And I like it to be fast, and I like it to put me priority. And it's worth $20. It's 66 cents a day if I were going to sell it online. 66 cents a day for that. So it's $20 a month, but get you guys, you can do the regular and it'll do it on the regular. So do that. It'll get to know you. It knows all the stuff that I've been looking up. If you look over here on my left side, it knows me. It starts to customize its answers for you and the things that you've told it in the past. So be careful when you tell it, like if you're trying to do something for someone else, be careful and say, this is for my friend in Wisconsin who wants to know what the weather's going to be like in September, that kind of thing, because otherwise it's going to assume that you live in Wisconsin eventually, right? So it's going to be customized to you. But do this for what you want to do, and these are what's proven. It pulls these from everybody out there who's putting good information online. And sometimes it'll people put in bad information, but overall, if it pulls from 25 things, it's going to be pretty good information. Sphere and relationship blocks, all these things. Okay, you're going to do all this stuff. Well, what I want to get you to: 1 lead magnet or value piece per week, 1 short vertical video. Is 2026 a good year to move up? And if you need more content, I've told you that, guys, before. It'll give you content. I've shown you guys that before. I'm not going to keep doing that. 1 DM blitz per week, 30 to 45 minutes. Reply personally to story viewers, commenters, friends, soccer parents, church folks, whoever. How many conversations did I actually have? So you're going to review what you've done. How many follow-ups? Did I book at least 1 appointment? Where the best combos come from? And this is just, in sports, we call this self-scouting. What's working for us? What's not working for us, right? How am I doing? Don't be too short on this. It means give yourself these marketing campaigns. Give them time to work. They don't work on day one. Give them some time to work. Give this whole branding thing some time to work, but keep branding. You may think it's silly, but keep branding. 1 email newsletter per month. If you're going to do that, database. Okay, 1 email newsletter per month to your database wide. Whatever you want to do on this stuff. 1 intentional present. This is all made up for my fake thing that I'm doing. Now they're going to think I have a daughter, but that's fine. So sponsor something small for your daughter's soccer team. Look, this is right out of Daryl's book, right? Of doing a table at his neighborhood events. That's all the same thing. Just substitute whatever you're doing in for these things. Okay. Monthly KPI check. Closings year to date versus goal. New contacts added, appointments held, sources of new clients. So we went from daily to weekly to monthly. Putting it in smart language from you. How I'd summarize your 2026 plan. This is great. Income goal. 2026, I will net blank from my real estate business. I will produce 14 transactions, 4 live. These are daily things to do. Guys, I know this from experience myself when I was younger. I know this from talking to you guys. You get a little paralyzed when you're not moving. When things aren't moving your way, you get a little paralyzed. I don't know what to do. Nothing's working. Get a plan and stick with it. I told you guys this before when people ask me about Craig Proctor or Tom Ferry or whatever these systems are, which ones work and which ones don't. Anything that you stick with works. Okay. Any kind of activity will bring you success. Find one that matches your personality. It's like a diet. Find something you'll stick to. That's the best diet for you, is one that you'll stick to, right? If you just say, I'm not going to eat any carbs, good luck, right? You're going to do it for a while, and then you're going to go back to eating carbs, because we all love carbs. It is in our DNA to love carbs. Okay. Do something that you can stick to. Those of you who know about my Taco Bell diet know that I stuck to it, and it worked for me. So some of those things work and some don't. I'll explain that later if you don't know. All right, weekly activities, monthly activities, all this stuff. So find a plan that you can stick to, and that's your game plan for 2026. And do this for every year. Do it for everything in your life. Do it for your weight. Do it for your whatever you're not happy with in your life, or you are happy with and you want it to get better. Whatever it is, do this for whatever. And I promise you, if I put in there that I want to gain or lose or maintain or do whatever, build more muscle or build, whatever, lose fat or whatever, it would have a plan for me for that. So you can use that as a guideline, but it's not the end all be all. The end all be all is actually doing it. And that's the bad news. If it were just plugging it into this system, into a computer program, and it did it all for you, that would be the good news. The bad news is you actually have to do it, and you actually have to track it, and you have to do all that stuff. So that's the game plan for 2026 for you guys. And if you guys have some plans of any kind, goals of any kind that you want to share today, the reason we only have 22 people here is because this is the day that we share our plans, or we talk about our plans. I want to see those. I will start by telling you guys that I had a 2025 goal of becoming fluent in Spanish. I don't know if you guys remember that. I am not 100% there. Did not 100% make it, but I'm pretty close. So my vocabulary is 95% there. My reading and writing is almost 100%. My speaking, you have to talk a little slow to me still. So I have a hard time understanding. I'm just slow. So if you say, if you introduce me to your friend and say he's a little slow, they'll understand. I'll speak exactly like they expect me to. If you explain to them ahead of time that my friend Ryan's a little slow. So that works in English too for me. So I have not completely reached it, but I will. And I'm going to give myself some grace, and I will make it. And definitely by the end of this year, but it shouldn't take that long. So that is something I had plans. I did not. I'm still doing Duolingo. I have a 940-day streak or something on that. I do that every day. And I just haven't had enough personal interaction and immersion in it to become fluent. So that's my failure for the year. But health-wise, I've done my health goals. I've done great. I'm doing well on everything else. So I feel good about that. But my biggest goal was admittedly that Spanish goal, and it did not turn out for me. So take responsibility for that and move forward and have a plan for this year. So you guys tell me about yours. Anybody. Not about your failures, just about what your goal is for the next year. And I know it was tough this year for your real estate goals, but whatever those were. But if you have any kind of goals you want to share, feel free. Nobody. Okay. Awesome. And that's completely understandable. Perfectly fine. Yes, Chad.
Real estate wise, I'm hoping my goal is new clients every 2 or 3 months. If I can get every 2 months, I'll be happy on that side. Things here are just dead, but it keeps driving forward. I should have one lined up for January already, and then on my goals completed from this past year. I was, I think, one deal away from meeting my $1 million goal on there. But that's, like I said, I've had the homes on the market. They're just not selling, but we keep moving forward. And then other goals, I was able to start my own mortgage brokerage, and then for next year, it's just bringing on loan officers and helping people out as much as possible.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to encourage you to just put that in numbers, how many loan offers you want to bring on this year and what you want them to produce and what you want to produce. But that is awesome, Chad. Thank you. I'm actually going to talk to you about some stuff up in Ocala, if that's okay with you. Not right now.
I'd love to.
All right. Christina.
Hey, how's everybody doing? How are you doing?
Awesome. We're doing awesome. Look how pretty everybody looks on there.
Yeah.
Daryl's on the beach somewhere. Everybody's happy.
Daryl is always at a beautiful destination on our calls.
Yes, he is. His head is anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to think about the goals. It's been weird, right? I think a lot of us are experiencing that. I it was very strong 2020, 2021, 2022. 23 for me was not great. And then 24 bounced back. And then this year might be a little better than 23, but not great. So it's like, what do you base your goals on comparative to this year? I mean, I guess I'm just trying to go back to comparing to a previous year. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, just I think for me, looking to maybe, like what you're saying, incorporate some more, like some fitness goals, some goals outside of real estate, be more consistent, in the avenues that I'm going to pursue for leads. I think you brought up a good point about having, the different lead sources. And so, I am pretty much a almost entirely referral-based agent. And so I've had some lead sources kind of go away, some new lead sources come into the picture. So I think I'm going to try to, focus on 3 to 5 lead sources and stay consistent. As far as like numbers and production, I'm going to have to look at that, nail that down. But I think that's probably a good thing maybe for everybody, right? Like for me anyway, just staying consistent and just really drilling down on, some additional lead sources and just the consistency. Because you're right. You're 100% right with anything, right? It's like if you're showing up and you're doing the work, whatever the system is that you're doing, it's going to produce results. So consistency is really going to be key. And then also I think offhand maybe, but just working on being a little bit more confident because, unfortunately I lost out on a good listing this year. And I think maybe, I don't know, I think I just got to go in there a little bit more confidently. I don't know if anybody else is feeling this way, but it's a little bit of a kick to your ego, when you've been doing well for so long, and then just the past couple of years have been so uneven. So those are some of the things that I'm going to work on this year.
Yeah, and I should probably share, since I'm asking you guys to do it, share some of my professionally, because of it's you guys' fault for not producing more. But I'm kidding. But no, like Chad said, you can lead a horse to water, right? He's got the listings, they're not selling, and that's not Chad's fault. And that's why, maybe for this past year, you need to look at yourself, how you did, and say, but did I do what I needed to do under normal circumstances? Because the market's been slow and listings aren't selling. You guys are emailing me and sending me listings all the time. What's wrong with this listing? Carolina sent me a couple yesterday. What am I doing wrong? She's not doing anything wrong, right? And her prices are, one of her sellers won't come down the price. The other one though, and the one in Davenport, Carolina, is you're not doing anything wrong. There's just a bunch of them on the market and they're not selling, and you're not doing anything wrong. So it's you can't kick yourself in situations like this. And yeah, Christina, it's something, what bothers me sometimes is when you lose something because somebody went in there and kind of misled your client into thinking, oh yeah, I don't know what these other agents are telling you, but I'll sell this thing in a month and get you full price and blah, blah, blah. And they're just figured out that BSing it works, and then they'll take the listing and they may not sell it and they'll burn that customer, but they'll find another one somewhere who will buy into it, and eventually maybe they'll sell one. I don't think it's a great strategy long term, but they beat you out on that listing because they lied to them. You gave them a realistic because you're not out here to waste your time. So you gave them a realistic price and a realistic plan to sell it. And And I came in 30 minutes later and told him, that's nonsense. We can get you, get your price you want. And, I'll have
It may have
sold.
been it could have been a blessing in the end too. Has the house sold?
Ironically, yeah, it was like I think it did sell.
Oh shoot.
That one was interesting because it was like, I think, I think I got to approach things a little bit more confidently in general, but this was a broker from South Florida who moved up here, retired, and he was really focused on, by the time they called me, I think they had already decided, but he was really focused on, he had to have a Spanish speaking agent. And I guess he assumed from my photo on Google that I was, or social media, wherever you find me, that I was, and I speak and understand some, but I'm not, fluent. And so it could have been a number of things, but yeah, that one I think did sell. It was one of those, but it kind of actually, and I know this is maybe this is for the end of the chat or whatever, but have we covered anything like how to be discoverable by AI? Because I'm interested. I'm trying to learn more about that, because now people are going to like ChatGPT, Siri, things like that, to say, hey, who should I work with in Orlando for real estate agents and stuff. But that's just another question. But
I don't know. You can ask AI how you become discoverable on AI. In fact, I just did. It'll tell me. I don't know otherwise. Yeah, just be more confident. Carolina, did you have something?
Just a question. I like the responses from people today and setting the goals and different things like that, Christina, about the confidence. It seems that you're correct. You gotta keep your confidence in these listings. My question is, if you've had a property on the market for a year and you've lowered the price a couple of times, done a lot of open houses, and do you think that, because I'm at the point where I want to just tell the sellers, hey, I can't sell your house and take it off the market. I mean, I did that with a homeowner and I said, hey, let's do that for 2 months. He said, did you ever do that before? I said, no, but we can try and reset it for another round. And he's like, oh, okay, let's do that. So I took one off the market, gonna put it back on the market in February. But then I have that townhouse that I don't know if I should tell her, hey, let's take it off the market and put it back on the market, or the one in Mount Bird that, I'm not sure what to do with that because it's just a little crazy. I just don't know what people have done, if they take it off the market, if they just tell the sellers, hey, I just can't sell it, or what are some feedback around that?
What are you guys seeing out there, Tammy?
What do you want to do? What does your gut tell you?
I'm not 100% sure what I want to do because it just seems I mean, I talked to the seller. She has these high expectations for the townhome. That community is not that great because there's no parking, and a lot of people want to do short-term rentals. Those are the people that are asking to see the property. I have to tell them, hey, it's not short-term rental. She's like, well, why are you telling them that? Because I have to.
Right.
So she's kind of saying, oh, your office can't sell, listings, blah, blah, blah. Like, she wants me to not disclose that it's not a short-term community.
Well, you just need to explain to her too about the zoning. It's zoned short-term rent. You only can rent in the short-term zoned,
Correct. She's like, well, they're doing it across the street. I said, I get that, but I can't tell a buyer's agent that they could do short-term rentals and then they can't. So,
Right.
you know, that's one thing.
I kind of feel like if it were me, I'd probably want to just take it off the market. I just kind of think, I mean, there's a couple of ways like, oh, well, I'm not being of service to them by taking it off the market possibly, but I don't know, like the stress of just letting it sit there for a year doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. It's kind of a hard situation, but I think I'd want to probably take a break.
And I think I'm a little bit overwhelmed with that, with having those two listings. The one that I just took off the market, I'm okay with that. And these two, I'm like, you know, there's nothing else I could do to get that house sold. The townhouse, the one in Mount Bird, she's not even responded to my calls, the seller. She's a
Oh, wow.
friend of mine, and I don't know what's going on with her, but she doesn't want to lower the price, and she's not responding, and she wants to rent for $3,500. I took Ryan's advice. I went to Bella Colina. I did speak to the young lady, and I told her about the rental. They did ask me if it was furnished, and it's not. So I think that hinders in terms of them renting to potential homeowners that are building. But I don't know. I'm feeling like I don't know. That's crazy.
Well, you sort of either maybe give them your opinion. Like, I feel like we might need to take it off the market, but if they don't want to, then I just probably let it sit there, and I don't know that I'd worry about it.
And I appreciate your honesty, because that's how I'm feeling. Like, I mean, what else can you do, right?
Right. You're stressing over it. Yeah.
Correct. And losing sleep over it too. And
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this has never happened. So I guess that's what's going on. Like, that's how I'm feeling, like a little bit overwhelmed with it. And I'm like, well, why am I going through all this? And yeah, so that's a good feedback. Thank you. I'm definitely going to do that today. Call them and have a conversation and not really stress about it.
Right.
Do the Carolina, do the 1% buy down thing that that Paul was talking about. Talk to whoever
On the listing?
is. Yeah,
On the
on
listing?
the listing, say, yeah, seller will contribute 1%, and just put it on there. Not seller, the lender will kick in 1% toward
I
lowering their
think I
buy.
did that for the townhouse. I'll double check the listing, but not for the one in Mount Bird. I'll double check if
They would do it for that
You
too.
have you looked on the MLS where it shows you the graph? You hit your listings and it shows you the activity on
yes,
your listing.
yes.
Has it had any activity?
Not the one in Mount Bird, but the townhouse. Yes, I've had a lot of activity, but mostly short-term rentals because it's right in the Four Corners area, and lots of investors sending offers on subject to, which is completely annoying. But
Right.
and really not many offers. That's shocking to me.
Have you called the HOA just to confirm it's not short-term rental?
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
sold. This seller is my previous customer, so she wanted
Oh,
this property. Then after like 2 years, she wants to sell it, and so it's been on the market for a year and it hasn't sold. And she's like, "Oh, if I knew about this, I wouldn't have bought this community." But obviously, I made some recommendations, and she wanted that community. So what do? You know, it's you know, sellers, buyers, they want to do what they want to do. And
well,
Yeah.
if they're going to occupy it as a home, you would think that maybe short-term rental is not something they would desire or have the need to do that in the future. But maybe, too, you live and learn from these things. If somebody is looking in that area, you're like, okay, this is not a short-term rental, so you could never Airbnb this out. So, if they're buying it for their residence.
right, she wants to sell it and she wants to go rent this seller.
And you
I
know
love
what, Carolina?
She probably has no equity in it either. Is she going to walk away
None.
with anything?
Nothing.
Oh, you got to pay to live somewhere. She should just pay to live there. I wonder what her monthly outgo is.
It's about $1,800. That's how much the rentals are. A little bit more, by the way.
But what's her monthly outgo owning the place? Like her mortgage, taxes, insurance. Do you know what her monthly outgo is?
1,800.
Hers is 1,800.
Yes.
Why would you sell and go live somewhere else? You're not going to rent for 1,800. That's crazy. That's maybe what I would sell. I would probably try to sell around that. Like, look, you've got to pay to live somewhere. You can't really rent cheaper than what you are paying here. Why would you want to do that? It's a math problem.
know, I think when she bought the property, her son is an active military. She recently told me that he's going to Afghanistan. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I think he used his benefits, or maybe he didn't, but he may want to get married, I think is what's going on. And she wants to remove
his VA loan.
Correct. He wants to have
She
his
could
name.
refinance. She could refinance and
I don't know that she could afford it on her own.
All right, I don't want to get bogged down too much in this, so let's go. But one thing I would say in the public remarks there is live in this nice area and don't be surrounded by. Would you like to live somewhere and not be surrounded by short-term rentals? Sell it as a positive, because you can't do anything about it being a negative. So sell it as a positive. You want to live in, it's a very affordable thing. It's in the 200s. But she has I looked at this yesterday for Carolina. She has a neighborhood across the street or something within a quarter mile. I don't know where it is, but with the exact same measurement townhomes, but cheaper. So that's her problem.
Bimini, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I just saw it that there was, they have a bunch of townhomes for sale in there for cheaper. Just not as nice a place. Okay. Mary Lou.
Yeah, good morning.
Good
Do you
morning.
think this very, very slow? How come I have find this thing never sell? I have couple homes. There's so many times cannot sell. I had the home is lower the market value, and then it's the less price and newer home in the market and never have the sewing request. And then I have one noble offer, but the seller turned down. So it's very slow though. It's scare me.
It's very slow. It's very slow right now with buyers. The rates are starting to come down some. I read something, Florida Realtor sent something out today that when rates hit below 6%, that the market's going to, there's going to be a big boost in the market, but I don't know. I'm hoping that's the case, but nobody knows for sure.
I'm kind of happy I don't have any listings.
Yeah.
I'm getting some maybe at the first of the year. I'm like, oh gosh.
Well, some are selling. It depends on the house and the market, but I can't find any rhyme or reason to it.
I think one home is very lower price in the market compared with the same community. And then the bigger house, the lower price, and then they will sell. And then the listing almost expired on 2 weeks. So I don't know how I can give that suggestion to the seller. Maybe ask him low down the price again, or maybe wait for another year. Do you think that another year has better market now?
Yeah, and even like what Carolina's talking about, take it off the market for 60 days and make it new if you've got a lot of days on market. Because it's not, people aren't really buying right now anyway because of the holidays, so it might not be a terrible time. Christina.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's an interesting climate. I have a listing in Mount Dora, and they're selling it, mostly furnished. And they did like $20,000 of improvements. They're selling it for, about $5,000 more than what they purchased it for. And anyway, the house next door is also for sale. And like we're 380 something, they're 335. Neither one is moving. When they bought the house 2-3 years ago, and multiple offers, it's very interesting. So even slashing the price in some of these cases, it's just not working.
It's not price. No, it's not all price.
Yeah. You know, I have a good one in Sanford where, you know, if we don't sell, we're going to rent it. But I mean, it's, you know, 3 years old, 4 years old, move-in ready, great property. Their neighbor was last listed at 645, took the property off the market. We're $20,000 lower, and I'm not even getting showings. So it is interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Yeah, it is, and I've seen that a lot of you guys have sent me these listings and said, "What's wrong with this?" And you know, it's not, you know, when you're 380 and 335, it's not encouraging. That it's not a price drop. The 335 is not selling. You know, Eric.
Hi, yes. First, I wanted to introduce myself. Eric Vasquez, new to the company and the group. Finally getting myself settled in. You know, been craziness of the holidays. Just wanted to go ahead and also just say really quick, you know, exclusive commercial real estate broker, focused solely on commercial, some of my skill sets too as well. If anyone has any questions on anything from retail, office, industrial, land, and such, I've done it all in my 15-year span career. But some of my mainstay focuses is retail, tenant rep, as well as small bay industrial and some local office too as well, like downtown office and such. So, but yeah, just wanted to do a quick elevator plug and you know, put a face. And also, since I'm wearing a crazy ugly shark sweater for Christmas there, you'd be like, hey, yeah, the guy that wore the ugly shark sweater. So
now, Eric, you're coming to the party today, right?
Yes, yeah, I'll be at the potluck. I'm the one that's bringing the chili.
Awesome.
So I got to go make that as soon as this call is done and make my famous chili there, bringing the crock pot and such. So I'll wear this so that way people can say, hey, look, you're the local celebrity, ugly shark sweater guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, I look forward to meeting you in person there, and welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
In the chat as well, and we do have people who are residential agents who need commercial help. Hold on one second. And we'll use the help. So I'll be introducing you to people as they, especially with a lot of landlord and tenant rep stuff, and some other stuff. And Brian is trying to speak to you in the chat as well. Brian is a big retail guy, so like shopping centers, etc.
Great,
amongst other things. But welcome, Eric, and I will see you this afternoon. And all of you are welcome. I saw that Tammy is coming. You guys look at the welcome email you got to come to this, the invite to this meeting, and there's all the information about our holiday party if you're in the Orlando area, and you can make it by later. If you want to participate in the White Elephant gift exchange, is a limit of $25. If you want to do the potluck lunch, just let us know and bring something, sign up for something on there, and we'll love to have you. Love to see you. So welcome, Eric. And Tammy's going to be there as well, I saw. So excited about that. Anne. Hi, Anne, you're on mute.
Hi, everyone. I finally get my house pending after 180 days, I think. And I want to share with you what's worked for me. I've been like do all kinds of things like listing for rent, seller finance, subject to option to buy, all kind of things, because it's my own house. I don't want to be in debt. So I reduced the price to $379, which means I'm willing to lose about $30,000, the price that I put in, the money that I put in to fix the property. But the guys that want to buy my house, he want to take over my mortgage. So I'm do seller finance for him, subject to. So I said, subject to, the price have to be 410. So I don't lose money. So I just share with you what worked for me. So if your seller or yourself want to sell, you have to be creative finance in this market. Some buyer, they may not qualify with the original lender, but they have the money to put down, that they're willing to buy. That's something is work win-win for both sides. So that's something I'd like to share.
Thank you, Anne. Appreciate that. And congrats on getting that under contract. I hope it closes for you.
Close.
Yeah, hope it closes.
Ryan, I'm a little confused. Congratulations. And my question is, subject to they don't actually purchase your house. You're still on the mortgage, is my understanding with the subject to.
Yes, I have attorney do this for me, so they responsible for everything. They even can do homestead exemption on the house. So I'm still pay my mortgage, but I do like 3 years balloon. 3 years later, I'm done. They have to refinance or pay off the loan.
Okay. I appreciate that feedback.
Yes.
Okay. Will you still stay in the home, or are you moving out and they're renting it and they're
That's my
responsible?
investment property. They will move into the house. That's their house after I sell it.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ann. Tammy.
I thought of a goal that I met this year. I had, at the end of every year when you're doing your taxes, it's like, oh my gosh, but I got the formations group, and last year, actually, my taxes got done on time. So it's so nice to, like all my bookkeeping is all in order, and I know what I've made, and I know what my expenses are, and my taxes will be done. Both my business and my personal will be done like probably in March, so I've enjoyed having that off my plate.
Awesome. That is awesome. So a goal met.
Yeah, I can go into their site anytime and like see where I'm at, how much money I've made, what my tax implication is going to be. So yeah, it's nice.
That's great. And you've done that through a service?
Formations.
Okay.
I think somebody in the office mentioned that, and I checked it out, and I went with them. It's kind of,
they did.
It's kind of like this. On Wednesdays, you can get online and ask them questions, and Tuesday nights, and they have but it's been good.
That's nice. Good. Formations. Christina.
Yeah, I was just going to say to Anne, with the subject to, I would just be aware if they're asking to be added to your deed, but not the loan, because I think in most cases, if the lender discovers that, they can call your whole loan due. So I know with a lot of these subject to deals, they want to be added to the deed, but not the loan. And then you still have the home loan, and the lenders can actually object to that and call the whole loan due.
I'm new to this, but I asked attorney. So what he planned to do is create the trust and put the property in the trust, something like that. But I will ask more detail.
As that due on sale clause is no joke. People think they found a way around it, but just make sure the attorney adds into the contract that if they do call the due on sale clause due, that the buyer is responsible for paying that loan off. Because otherwise it's going to go. It's going to be on your credit that mortgage is not paid.
Yeah, and these subject to guys will all tell you they have a wait, like exactly, they'll all say that.
Yep.
But ask a real estate specific attorney, because they'll quote you like statutes and things that like just are not. Most lenders, if they find out that you did that, added somebody to the deed but not the loan, can just say, hey, guess what? Give us all our money right now. So
and they will likely find out, because there's going to be a homeowner's insurance change and a mortgagee change.
But do they really do on sale clause? I mean, do they want to do that?
yeah. I would look at your loan documents, and then get with a real estate, a real estate attorney, specifically somebody who specializes in real estate, because the subject to, a lot of these subject to guys don't know or just lie,
Yeah, they will straight up lie. And then if you ask to add an addendum that says, hey, if this due on sale clause gets triggered, you guys are responsible for it, that's when they ghost you. Because they want you to have all the financial responsibility at the end of the day. So just make sure that your lawyer is realtor specific and knows how to market it to where it's not going to fall on you at the end if these guys, if the mortgage company finds out that you're no longer the owner of the home.
Thank you.
And most likely, they're not going to be able to perform on a due on sale. Right?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So talk to a real estate attorney. Make sure. Okay. Any other questions before we get going? I'm checking the chat. Talked about that. Thank you, Carolina. But if you want good help, we're going to do it in English for a while. Appreciate you offering. Anyone else? Anything to say before we go? Our holiday party's at 2:00. Please come if you can. If you can't, that's okay as well. Those of you in the Orlando area. Otherwise, guys, no meeting next week or the week after because it's Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. And I will see you guys in January. And guys, have great holidays. Appreciate you guys, all the hard work you put in this year. And we're looking forward to next year picking up. Gigi says that the new Fed guy or lady or whatever, the new chairman, is coming in February, and it's going to be more aggressive, hopefully. Look for that to be, typically when that happens, the market adjusts before. So you don't see it like Paul has explained to us before, and Chad, they will, that'll be baked in by the time they make the announcement. People already know. So Daryl already starting with the see you next year stuff. I will see you guys next year if I don't see you in person today or in the meantime. So take care, everybody. Have a great holidays, and we'll see you soon. Do your goals and then start doing the work. But get prepared.
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. Bye, everybody.